Good evening, folks. This is Diamond from the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Monday, November 20th at 11:49 p.m. Mountain Time, 2017. You're looking at weather on Thanksgiving Day. It's going to feel very different on each side of the U.S. That is thanks to the grand solar minimum and what the mainstream is calling buckling of the jet stream. This buckling of the jet stream is what causes crop losses moving forward, and this is the pattern we're moving into for the next several years. Let's talk cosmic rays. Atmospheric river approaching Seattle in Washington. 5 inches of rain expected to trigger flooding near Seattle this week due to this atmospheric river. They just got dumped on. Another front is headed towards the region, expecting to bring up to 5 inches of rain in the mountains. That's going to cause the snow to melt there and flooding. We'll be watching that. Storm Center winter outlook. Why we believe this may be the big one. This is for Maine. They're predicting 90 inches all throughout all of central Maine this year. 80 inches for the rest of the state. You're going to escape with just 70 inches on the coast, Maine. I'll leave you links to this article. It's an interesting coming out of open snow if it downloads. These graphs here, I wanted you to take a look at them. Okay, the thick blue line in the lower left of the graph shows the snowpack trend so far this season. What we're referring to here is that dark blue line. But I want you to look at the green line, and then the yellow line, and then the blue line. You can all clearly see that that's increasing amounts of snowpack. And that's 2015, 2016, and 2017. And here's the 2018 line, which I predict will be on top of the blue line from 2017. So what we're seeing here in Wyoming is a 3-year increase in snowpack with a significant bump up last year and a really big high spike this year, which we're moving into. So I'll leave you links to this so you can look at these graphs. Take a look at Arapahoe Basin is 95% of average. Most everywhere is looking good right now. But this is a good graph to serve the linear progression of how the snow has been on the uptick. Here's Crystal Mountain, Washington. 274% of average. Christmas weather. Britain braced for coldest winter for years. Arctic winds will sweep Britain this weekend as the nation braces for the coldest winter in 7 years, according to this article. Temperatures will soon nosedive across the country, bringing harsh frosts and the first widespread snow of the season. Wintry showers are forecast across Scotland, northern England, and swaths of the east and west coasts. It will follow a wet and windy and usually mild week, with southerly winds that push the mercury to 15°C in parts. I'll leave you links to this. Guys, they're predicting a harsh winter for you guys. Coming soon. So heads up. Let's talk about Black Death warning. The plague is impossible to eradicate. An expert is warning the plague that has sickened over 2,000 people in Madagascar since August is impossible to eradicate. Even though the number of those infected has dropped in recent weeks, the plague will truly never be gone. I'll leave you links to this so you can check it out. Let's do a quick seismic look. It's quite active in the moderate zone and a very large quake here up in the New Caledonia region north of New Zealand here, 6.0, which could be considered an aftershock of the large quake, the 7.0. Sinabung here is ringing at 5.2. It's a heads up because when we check out the volcano report, we'll see that Sinabung is also erupting today. There have been 134 earthquakes in Monterey County since last week's 4.6 magnitude. So if we do a quick investigation, guys, come over here. We can just go to 1 day all magnitude. You're going to see a significant amount of earthquakes here. And they're claiming that these are aftershocks to that tiny 4.7 in Gonzales. Significant amount of activity, including Long Valley Caldera. Significant. Those are the aftershocks. If they're relating these to that, then I don't know what they're talking about. So I'll leave you links to this article. You make the call. There is an uptick in Southern California. I'll also leave you links to this earthquake hazards map from FEMA. It's pretty nice. I've shown this map before, but this is broken down into two halves, and it's a little higher detailed. So you can really determine if you're in the high-risk zones here on the New Madrid area. This is a high-risk area in South Carolina for large quakes, and in any of these red zones. It's a heads up. So if you haven't seen these, I'll leave you links to this. Up and it gives you Alaska and Guam and other places. Puerto Rico. So let's talk about volcanoes. Here's the worldwide report. We just saw that Sinabung had a 5.2 over here at the seismic map. So we might see some more activity coming out of Sinabung. Let me get out of that too because it'll slow us down here. Here's that Sinabung quake. 5.2 happening at 18 kilometers. So that's up in the volcanic neck, which is why here there's an ash advisory today, and it may start erupting more. So we can go, if you're ever here at Volcano Discovery and click on my links, you can come read all here about Sinabung. It'll take a second. Boom! And we're here. It's erupting. Yes. So that's what the 5.2 is telling us, that Sinabung is erupting currently. Boom! And you can check it out here. Live updates, and when the sun comes up, you can watch it. Here's even a Sinabung volcano special. You can have a 5-day volcano expedition and just, you get the flesh burnt right off your body. It'd be amazing. Mount Canelon on alert level 2. LGU prepares residents for possible eruption. Bada boom. Negros Occidentales, Philippines. Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council is strictly monitoring the activities at Canelon Volcano. After Dost Firvox gave it an alert too, it means that the volcano is in moderate level of unrest and can possibly release magma or magmatic eruption anytime. This is why citizens are prohibited to enter the 4-kilometer radius permanent danger zone because of possible release of lava from the volcano and the potential release of the flesh from their skin. Let's talk NBC. Let's talk volcanic. If you're still in the stock market, guys, get out. It is not normally high. All markers are pointing to boom. Get out of there. I'll leave you links to this. Please buy some Bitcoin. Let's talk about climate nonsense. The 1970s global cooling compilation here looks much like today. I'll leave you links to this. It's great. You can listen to Leonard Nimoy here, Spock, talk about the Ice Age coming. And these are all the 1970, 71 through 74 articles on global cooling. And they all point to an Ice Age coming by 2020. 20, that's in 3 years. That's what they all said. And they were silenced by global warming. So I'll leave you links to this. It's pretty damn awesome. But they wanted to outlaw the internal combustion engine. Guys, this is because an ice age was coming because of carbon dioxide. Man-made carbon dioxide was causing the ice age, not the global warming. Let me tell you, let's talk about some of my heroes in the climate movement and some of the charlatans. And I want to point something out to you guys. This is Christopher Lancia. He is an American meteorologist, formerly a research meteorologist with the Hurricane Research Division of the Atlantic Oceanographic and Meteorologic Lab at NOAA. Now the Science and Operations Officer at the National Hurricane Center. He's a member of the American Geophysical Union and American Meteorological Society. And this man has heart and a backbone. And a seldom shared piece was an open letter he wrote to the world, which was not shared by the mainstream when he resigned. and I'm going to read it in full. Dear colleagues, after some prolonged deliberation, I have decided to withdraw from the precipitating in the fourth assessment report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. I am withdrawing because I have come to the view the part of the IPCC to which my expertise is relevant as having become politicized. In addition, when I've raised my concerns to the IPCC leadership, their response was simply to dismiss my concerns. With this open letter to the community, I wish to explain the basis for my decision and bring awareness to what I view as a problem in the IPCC process. The IPCC is a group of climate researchers from around the world that every few years summarize how climate is changing and how it may be altered in the future due to man-made global warming. I've served both as an author for the observation chapter and reviewer for the second assessment report in 1995 and the third assessment report in 2001, primarily on the topic of tropical cyclones. My work on hurricanes and tropical cyclones more generally has been widely cited by the IPCC. For the upcoming AR4, I was asked several weeks ago by the observation chapter lead author, Dr. Kevin Trenberth, and we will talk about this fraud. He was asked by Kevin Trenberth, where was I? To provide a write-up for the Atlantic hurricanes. As I had in the past, I agreed to assist the IPCC in what I thought was to be an important and politically neutral determination of what was happening with our climate. Shortly after, Dr. Trenberth requested that I draft the Atlantic hurricane section for the AR4's observation chapter. Dr. Trenberth then participated in a press conference organized by scientists at Harvard on the topic, Experts to Warn Global Warming Likely to Continue Spurring More Outbreaks of Intense Hurricane Activity. Bullshit! Along with other media interviews on the topic. The results of this media interaction was widespread coverage that directly connected the very busy 2004 Atlantic hurricane season as being caused by fake anthropogenic greenhouse gas warming. Listening to and reading transcripts of these press conferences and the media interviews, it is apparent that Dr. Trenberth was being accurately quoted and summarized in such statements and was not being misrepresented in the media. The media sessions have potential to result in the widespread perception that global warming has made recent hurricane activity severe, which is nonsense, because there is no scientific evidence to support that. Now, my hero here, Chris, continues. He found it perplexing that the participants in the Harvard press conference had come to the conclusion that global warming was impacting hurricane activity today, because to his knowledge, none of the participants in that press conference had performed any research on hurricane variability, nor were they reporting on any new work in the field. All previous and current research in the area of hurricane variability has shown no reliable long-term trend up in the frequency or intensity of tropical cyclones, either in the Atlantic or any other basin. Now, the IPCC assessment in 1995 and 2001 also concluded that there was no global warming signal found in the hurricane record. You guys following what's going on here? It is beyond me why my colleagues would utilize the media to push an unsupported agenda that recent hurricane activity has been due to global warming. Given Dr. Trenberth's role as the IPCC's lead author, responsible for preparing the text on hurricanes, his public statements so far outside of the current scientific understanding led me to concern that it would be very difficult for the IPCC process to proceed objectively with regards to the assessment on hurricane activity. In other words, the IPCC is 100% full of shit. And my concerns go beyond the actions of Dr. Trenberth and his colleagues to how he or other officials responded to my concerns. They basically told him to shut up. And he concludes, I personally cannot, in good faith, continue to contribute to a process that I view as both being motivated by preconceived agendas and being scientifically nonsense. And as the IPCC leadership has seen no wrong in Dr. Trenberth's actions and have retained him as the lead author, I have decided to no longer participate in their complete nonsense. Thank you, Chris. Now, if you want to read about Kevin Trenberth, I'll let you read about him, but I'm not going to give him a second. Here's an article he wrote. The man is full of nonsense. First of all, his graph starts and shows no warming here or cooling. It's going straight up because it's the faulty data. But I want you to just see the callousness of this idiot. Fact, not opinion. Climate change is happening, and it's caused by human activities. Welcome to George Orwell's world that he promised you. Please subscribe to our channel. Don't believe this nonsense. Share the truth with like-minded people. Become a member of our Patreon and help us continue to spread the truth. Be safe.